All right, what up, everybody? This is Am Root, and we got another interview for our Love 2021 celebration. This time we're talking to fellow collective member Trav The White. What up, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, life is good. I can't complain. Got my health.
You know me, I can complain about everything, but I try not to.
Right, man. Hey, I'm just appreciating what I got. And shit's crazy these days. So I'm just glad I got the chance to chop it up with you, man. I'm hoping to talk a little poetry, man, and maybe pick your brain about some random shit going on in the world.
Yeah, man, I'm really happy about this interview. I'm really excited for love this year. So, let's get to it.
Yeah, a little different, man, but I'm hoping, man, that we're able to connect with a lot of people outside of the valley, given that love is something specific to the Phoenix area and us and our relationship here, giving people that platform to be able to vent and do their thing. But now that, we got the love poetry contest and also this love showcase, yeah, man, so I'm just hoping it's a way for us to bring that love experience to other folks at home or wherever they are. Shit, you could be walking to the liquor store watching this. That's the I guess the luxury of the times that we in right now. It's just we got technology on our side.
Yeah, I mean, if our audience really wants to help us out, we can get into Times Square.
Right.
I'm just joking, but
Right. But tell us a little bit, man, about your art and your mission as an artist.
my art is like based around trying to extend myself as a philosopher. I tried to like as a younger man, like I'm like 33 now, like as a much younger man, like when I was in my teens, uh, try to do as much work as I possibly could to become a philosopher, like to become the type of person who is capable of thinking and speaking clearly about the types of issues and problems that we have, not only today, but perennially, like the ones that we've always had. And then that's part of why I joined I Am Root was because I saw that the part of the problem that we have with war, with hate, with the problems of the world is all based in and around language. But I don't see language as like a philosophical problem per se. I see more of it as an artistic problem because I'm trying to figure out how to put the best words together to cause a certain type of feeling in somebody. So like if
Yeah.
I don't want you to go to war, I want to say words that make you feel like you don't want to go to war. And that's more art than it is science or philosophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it might be hey, like summed up philosophically, you're more aimed at the transformation of somebody given some type of medium. And so in exploring that and thinking about myself and how I can make the most effect in the world, I felt like sitting in like a ivory tower, utilizing the skill and this persona and
Yeah.
personality that I have wouldn't be the right thing. That actually being out there and trying to figure out how to modify myself to be a more general person, a
Mm-hmm.
more artistic individual was the right answer. And after like 7 years with I Am Rude, I mean, that was the right answer the whole time. I'm glad I did what I did.
Hey, man, definitely glad to have you, dude. It's been a journey, but for sure,
Yeah.
like what's been the best part about it is just I feel like just the access to I don't I don't just want to say information, but it's like the constant evolution of like information. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Mhm.
when anytime I hop on a call with you or even if we're on the Xbox, like Trav always has some new info, you know what I'm saying? Like shit to look out for, shit to look into, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like being in a collective of artists, like it's always good to have new info coming in, you know what I'm saying? As far as just how to look at life or how to, think about some things, how to chomp on things or how to how to's, you know what I'm saying, just in a sense. So it's been dope and it's been valuable for sure, you know what I'm saying. So I'm definitely glad, like, you know what I'm saying, you're a part of the fam, and I'm definitely looking forward to the growth, you know what I'm saying. It's been a lot of growth, since the start, but a lot more to go. Like we always talk offline, of course, just about the different
Mhm.
plots and plans that you have for the world, you know what I'm saying. So I'm extremely excited just to see that turn into like actualities, into goals, and into different things that you check off your list at some point in your career. So that's dope.
Yeah, man. Thank you a lot. Man, I appreciate you for the opportunity of just letting me come aboard and being a part of this whole thing. And, when it comes to growth, this has been the type of growth that was most needed for me in the philosophical sense. Like I know what I'm saying and what I'm trying to do. I think better than if I would have went any other direction. So, like, that's invaluable to me. So I owe you more than anything.
For sure, for sure. Well, let me ask you this. What on the topic of poetry, given we got the Love Poetry contest going, and it's our first time doing the video submissions and stuff. So people have the chance to vote on our website, ironrootco.com/love poetry. What would you say is like some of your favorite kinds of poetry to read or write, or both actually? Your favorite types of poetry to read, either by a certain artist, or you can go genre or narrative or whatever, and then the stuff you like to write about.
Yeah. My favorite type of poetry to read is like high level experimental poetry, like poetry that knows what it's doing and it's trying to do something on purpose. That way, so I can learn from what they're trying to do, so I can apply it to a much bigger like method. Like you go and practice in this one direction. It's like practicing your kicks and karate.
Yeah.
This one guy's learned this one kick. He's got this type of poetry that he does. How do I get in? Like, if they're doing it for me at least the right way, like there's people doing it all over the place differently. For me, there's certain people doing it a way where I can learn from those people. I like to try to like really understand like the why did you decide to drop all other rules and stick to this one particular thing here. So it's not necessarily poetry for the everyday person, but it's more poetry for a poet, like so I can learn like a new sentence, like or a way of saying something, about
Hmm.
flowers. I don't, I
Yeah.
don't know,
Right. Right. No, that's dope, and I think given like the type of poetry that like I've like heard from you or read from you, I can definitely like get that. Like it's definitely intent. Like it's a lot of intent behind it, and like the messages are like naturally like strong messages. Like there are times like I can't think of the name of the poem, but it like I believe it starts off with like big bombs dropping. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
naturally like you're like, oh shit, like hold on, let me listen in, like it's not like you're saying like bombs lay delicately on the sand and
Yeah.
explode onto the it's just straight to it, and it's something beautiful about like the rawness of just getting straight to your point, because like there's still poetry left to be read. You don't try to force like flowery language into like each image that you throw at us.
Yeah, that's more along like that's about more my writing style, right? I a part of the Imagist movement from Ezra Pound, how I see it. Like no one
Mm-hmm.
taught it to me. I kind of look at it from here in the 21st century, just trying to look at it from my own perspective. But you're supposed to speak as clearly as like, don't say like the birds and the bees and the sword and the sheep. You know what I mean? Like say the penis felt very good in the vagina. Like that you're already starting to say really good poetry to me once you clear up the level of abstraction. Don't go to like, if you're going to talk about freedom, don't talk about hamburgers. Talk about freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So I always try to maintain that. That's why it's really important for me to learn as many experimental styles as I can, because I have this base writing style. And so I can make it look better and more like just you're not hearing the same thing over and over.
Right.
I have to use all these different styles.
No, no, definitely that makes sense. Um, so one thing that I was going to throw to you, which I feel like you would say that it's important, but I just wanted to kind of pick your brain and maybe kind of see where you take it, and just hoping that the folks watching this just kind of receive where you go with it. And that's just how important is like being able to either vent, given that the vent has let us vent, or just being able to have an outlet for expression for like young adults or young people in general.
Yeah, language is an evolutionary factor that our species came up with in the direction of survival. If you can't talk, you're not surviving as well as you could be if you were talking.
Hmm.
So, venting is the single most important thing to the abstract type of consciousness that we have, because, like, think about the word we've used to talk about this particular activity, right?
Hmm.
Venting, right? I have
Right.
all this mental buildup and I need to let it exhaust a little bit, right? And I'm
Hmm.
doing that through language, right? And it's helping me because I'm listening to myself talk at the same time I talk, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
like I'm just not hearing myself. So I'm hearing what I was thinking inside. And by the time you got it in like a structured way, right, you're now able to think about it in a less abstract way. Like inside, it's really abstract. By the time you say it out here, it's less abstract. By the time you hear it, you brought it down another level. So you're able to get the message of what you're thinking a little bit better through talking, especially if you're talking with another person who's like there for you in, the first part of it, love, you know what I mean? Like love, right?
Right.
Someone's there truly loving you and you're able to talk, well, then you're able to talk yourself actually into existence. I think this about myself. I don't think that. I have these fears. I have these angers. I have, these desires. And that person's going to walk you through in language all of that so that you can build yourself into a much bigger person. So I think it's the single biggest, like, it's one of the things that we're missing out on here in the 21st century that we could do better on.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like even our machinery, like they have vents and ports in them so that they don't
Mm-hmm.
explode.
Yeah, right. Like all of a sudden you're playing a game and then your fans going, yee, 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 yee. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, you rev your car too much, you know what I mean? And like smoke starts coming out of it, you know what I mean? The same thing
Right.
happens with you when you're like all frustrated and, whatever,
Hmm.
venting does help. We all know what it's like when we actually are listened to, how good that feeling feels afterwards.
Right.
It's like
For
one of the
sure.
best feelings in the universe.
For sure. Because I feel like it's just as important, to have someone in your life to be able to express to, or if you're like, definitely if you don't have an outlet, but like those people that often get vented to, what I'm saying, like they
Mm-hmm.
play an important role in society. I feel like just
Biggest role.
listeners, just being good listeners, and or just allowing people to get stuff off their chest without like judgment. Sometimes people shy away from like expressing themselves or talking about the things that are impacting them simply because they don't want to be looked at as that person. Like we have that going on in our world where you could be that person, and that forces
Mm-hmm.
you not to want to be like, yo, I'm having a bad day, or like, here's what's on my mind, just because you feel like, having that stigma is worse than, I guess anything else for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting when it comes down to like the way we've kind of shut ourselves off from ourselves here in the 21st century and what it would mean for us to build like better infrastructure of the socials, what I would call it, like
Hmm.
we have this like very, very alone type world where like even if you're like talking to somebody at like a bar that you find randomly, you know what I mean? It's not, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say like, because I have like these crazy conversations with people, you know what I mean? But I
Right.
find that like the average person seems to like really value my conversation that I had with them. You know what I mean? It's
Mm.
like, oh, wow, dude, you're so different. That was cool, like, because like I'm always going out of my way to have these conversations. And so it's strange, like living in a world that's so disconnected, you know what I mean? Being a type of person like myself, because I see a lot of people just needing to talk and they wouldn't be like, let's say, so extreme in their personality.
Mm. Right. No, yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Because there's definitely even points in my life where like especially like where I would say like middle school or something like that, where I just felt like I wasn't, you know, talking about things, what I'm saying? And just
Mm-hmm.
how things impacted me, what I thought about this, or, and so on. And I definitely carried like a lot of like anger, and I had like a off and on relationship with my father. So like stuff carried over into that, and not talking about it, it definitely can not necessarily be like the healthiest thing, especially as you're trying to grow and like figure yourself out at that point in time. So yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you, going back and forth with me about that. Just because, I'm hoping to definitely touch base with a lot of like youth going forward with a lot of our
Mm-hmm.
initiatives with like I Am Root. You know what I'm saying? And just making sure that we tap in with the things that are important to them, and just making sure, like on the subject of some previous podcasts that we've had about secession, in our own way, making sure that we reach back to, for the little ones that are looking to get into the spaces that we are in, because to us, like we have so far to go, but like to some young folks looking at us, we're in a great space. So,
Yeah, one thing I've been practicing a lot more recently with like some of the younger people I've interacted with is just listening and not talking as much. I mean,
mm,
anybody who knows me knows I'm the talker, right? But I find that like, as the older person to just be there as a listener, it seems to be a very important thing. And so that's one of the things I'm maybe working on with myself going forward is just to uh, let other people vent, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So
You also learn so much too, either about people or just about perspectives and stuff by just sitting in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, that's how you move. You know what I mean? You just
yeah,
be
for
letting me
sure.
ramble, bro.
For
It'd
sure,
be
for
like an
sure,
hour
man.
later, and you'd be like, all right. And so then this, that, and the other thing. Okay, cool.
Right, for sure, for sure. And yeah, part of it, man, is I like things that are interesting.
Mhm.
And a lot of the time, like just interactions with folks, yourself, or it just even just being in the room when conversations are being had, is also interesting. Not the case that I might go and voice my like strongest opinion or anything of that matter, but it's just it's to me like TV almost, for
Yeah, yeah.
some instances, it's like it's not TV, but it's just like it's information going back and forth, and you just like hearing it play out, real time podcast, like whatever the case is. It's just I enjoy. I don't want to call
Well,
it ear
TV.
hustling. Hopefully, it's
Yeah.
conversation that I'm involved in.
No, TV is a simulation of what we were really doing before. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we were talking back and forth, and we were the Seinfeld characters. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we weren't just sitting on the couch letting other entities live. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
were the ones living, and we were the ones talking about the story and seeing it play out. And that's one of the things that's weird about the digital world is like the types of participation people take in it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are. I wouldn't say not a lot of people because I haven't met a lot of people in the big sense. You know what I mean? I haven't met
Mm-hmm.
like 100 million people.
Right.
Even
Right.
if I
Right.
did, that's still like less than a percentage of the world right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like such a tiny amount of people. I still wouldn't have any insight. But like one of the things I talk about a lot with certain individuals, is that extreme loneliness that's available here in the 21st century and what that all really means.
Mm.
Um, it's a strange, strange factor and strange phenomena. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's definitely very true. Um, yeah, so I'll throw you another one, man, before we wrap up here. And that one is more so just about like any artist or someone, so artist, music artist, preferably that you enjoy that you think puts out high quality music and visuals.
Yeah, for high quality music, I mean, like first, the one artist I'm going to shout out right now is Rosa Tati.
Yes, sir.
He's a local artist. Rozotadi. You can find him on all the platforms. I've been listening to his new album. I've like spent a really long time listening to it, like because I like it a lot, and I
Mm.
want to do like a write up on it. But it's deep in a fresh way. So I like his Big Head Guide to the Galaxy. Artists who have great visuals and great music right now. Rumor, RMR.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say him and St. John, but
Okay.
Rumor more importantly. St. John's kind of like I don't know. I like Rumor right now.
Okay, for sure. For some
Yeah.
reason, I thought you was gonna say Amine, just because you put me on to some of his
Man,
videos.
like Amine's like my like 3 o'clock in the afternoon smoke some weed music, but like
I
by the
feel you.
time night falls, it's like more Rumor.
I got you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so like Amine, he's great, but like I'm sorry, Amine, you know what I mean? Like if he ever sees this, you know what I mean? Like and
Right.
if Rumor ever sees it, like, get on a song together, that'd be dope.
Nah,
You
that would
know?
be dope. That would
Like
be
fuck
dope.
it.
That
Like
would be dope. But yeah, nah, cause after I was at your crib that time, man, you showed me some of the videos. Like I had seen some videos, but then I watched like all of the videos that went with the last project, Limbo. You know what I'm
yeah, with
saying?
Amine,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty dope. Pretty dope.
Yeah, his
But
last project, like it was like, if I played it for you and you're like, okay, where's this nigga from? And we're like, Oregon. You'd be like, okay, that's what's in it.
right, right.
There's like something in the music everywhere that's just
Mm,
a little different and a little weird.
right.
And
Yeah.
same thing with the visuals too. And he really owns it in a way that not a lot of people do. So yeah, he's somebody I guess I sleep on him a little bit, you know,
I
but
feel you.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, for
rumors
sure.
rumors doing like Goo Goo Dolls covers though, like, and
Yeah.
that yeah, that's like really like that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm definitely liking his growth too, man. Just kind of where he's taking his sound and like even how he just came on the scene, you know what I'm saying, and what his plan is. Like, he seems
Yeah.
real purposeful and like the way that he's moving, so that's good.
Well, he's like niggas can use country beats. Bet.
Right.
He's like, all right, challenge accepted.
Right,
You
for
know what I mean?
sure.
Go listen to a song Rascal. You know what I mean? That's Rascal Flats. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, don't no. Thank you very much, man, for joining. And yeah, man, I look forward to you dropping a poem here soon.
Yeah, man, I'll be dropping the whole poetry book, and then like I'll slowly be releasing some videos and stuff like here in the next week. It'll be available on Amazon. So
Nice, nice.
there's that part, screaming at the top of my lungs.
Yes, sir, man. Been a long time coming, but it's good to see.
Yeah, man, it's coming a part of a much larger project with this Root conference that we're going to be doing. So got that ready, got my much larger book done. And so I'll be dropping all of that kind of all at once while talking about this Root conference where hopefully we can get some really high level thinkers out here to talk about what we can do in relationship to technology and tradition and how we can build out the right infrastructure going forward so people can feel not only connected and happy, but, like 21st century people too. You know what I mean? Like we could have, like, we don't have to like, we can have all the stuff the people who want like socialism or utopia want with jetpacks. Like we don't have to like go back to like cave people and do this. You know what I mean? Like we
Right.
could figure this out with flying cars and going to the moon. You know what I mean? Like, and so I want to do my work for trying to provide the intellectual grounds for us to talk about that type of world. How do we fix this world using the traditions that we've have in the past? Because like our podcast has been saying, I might just be missing out on walking. Like
Mm-hmm.
I might be like so depressed, and you know what I mean, instead of whatever my doctor was trying to give me, I just needed to go take a daily walk, and
Right.
I found myself happier. And if
Right.
you
Right.
found yourself happier just from a walk, maybe that's all you were missing.
Right. For
Like it's
sure.
it's real simple, but you
Yeah.
know
No, no, those are some good points, man. And just even thinking about like the title of your book and everything, like I could definitely see that, like screaming at the top of your lungs. That looks like something you could build a whole workshop around. You know what I'm saying? Like go to
yeah.
a master class for like an executive Fortune 500 company, like the management group. You know what I'm saying? I just like the name. I see so much like
Hell yeah, man.
with that. You know?
Yeah, like, and I mean, it's aimed at kind of everybody, like
Yeah.
each and every one of us are dirty. Like I'm not saying the title of the book in the podcast because it's got,
Yeah.
bad language, but, or like the much bit larger book, but the chapter or the title or the chapter I called Self, right, starts off with, ultimately, if I'm going to be true to what I'm saying in this book, I have to admit that I'm a Nazi. Well, not really. I'm a Confederate because the Nazis learned from us
Mm-hmm.
and we're still killing the Native Americans, and we're still more segregated than we were before Martin Luther King tried to do what he did. And I'm experiencing luxury. So I'm living in a racial world where the Native Americans are actively being genocided while I understand what we should do with Israel and the Holocaust. So if we know what we should do with Israel and the Holocaust, how can Native Americans be losing their land because the United States wants to go do a mine? Like
Right.
why don't they have, like how do the Native Americans don't have Apache helicopters but Israel does, and the same thing that happened to the Jews happened to the Native Americans,
Yeah.
right? So like ultimately that chapter of Self is calling myself out for being uh like the thing that sucks about America is we don't have a Hitler, but we do have an army that murders people for being innocent and genetically inferior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all
So.
of us are guilty, like every single one of us. Like, and that's what hopefully the book is about. You know what I mean? It's trying to get us to the place where we realize, like, this whole conversation about black and white is in the face of the Native Americans, and we shouldn't even be having it.
Mm,
Like,
okay.
how selfish are we to like debate about who's right when we're actively like destroying their like everything?
Right, right. No, that's very true. So that's like that's pretty much kind of the angle that you take in that the book of poetry.
No, no, that's in
Or that's for the larger.
the larger book,
Okay,
yeah,
for sure, for
with the
sure.
curse word name in it. A blank's critique of the United States of America itself, right? Yeah, and the much larger argument in there is that the technology that we have is going to shift our perception away from who we like think that we are at all. Like we can consider Travis White as this like network of self-referencing, right? I choose to self-reference the way that I do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I have some level of free will because what I can do is I can go and pick up a book and like push myself to read it, or I could put the book down. If I
Right,
finish the book, I have a whole extra self-reference point, in myself, right? If I don't have the book, then I don't. Back in the 1800s during slavery, they didn't want me to have the self reference points I could have from reading and writing, right?
Gotcha.
And so if I want to be like a future person, then I need to read and write. But if I'm just doing Instagram and I'm just doing Facebook and I'm just watching Fox News and I'm only self-referencing the internet, then
Yeah.
I'm a much different person than if I self-referenced reading and writing. And so the whole book is about what it's like to identify with yourself along the lines of what it means to be a self-referencing network, right? That I
Mm-hmm.
can change up the way that I self-reference and therefore change my being. If I can change my self-reference network and therefore change my being and I'm in control of that, that's a much different world than if all of my self-reference points are algorithmic in nature, like they come from the internet, and all those internet algorithms were there to manipulate me.
Got you.
So if I'm
Okay.
only picking algorithms in my self-reference network to make up my sense of being that are there because they were designed to manipulate me, I'm more of a robot than I am a human being. And a human
Right.
being would be a freely chosen self-reference network thing.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so my book's about like trying to navigate like what all that means, you know what I mean, in like several chapters.
Right, right. Okay. Well, no, man, we'll definitely be looking forward to that. I know that you put in numerous hours, countless hours, man, making that happen. So yeah, no, I'm definitely hoping that the world receives that message, man, and I'm hoping that it's a great kickoff to what you have to come.
Yeah, man. Like if we can realize what I'm saying and what other people are saying that are in the similar category of thinkers, we might actually have a chance at creating technology that allows you to pick your own being. Like, let's say you want to be better. Well, what if the problem that you're getting better is the algorithms aren't helping you right now? They're like against you. Like Twitter is like, and Facebook are making you angry when they could make you read. So like you wanted to read, and every time you get on Facebook, it makes you read. Wow, you're doing what you want to do. But if every time you get on Facebook, it like just interacts you with people you're going to argue with or agree with, and that's all you do, so that you can be sold to a political party later on,
Right.
that's much different algorithm networks than the ones that we could build where it's like, yo, I want to lose weight and be a runner, and then my algorithm's helping me with what I wanted it to do, versus
Okay.
letting Mark Zuckerberg go, hey, we need more black voters for Republicans in Alabama.
Right. Right. Okay. Now that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you chopping it up, man. We
Yeah, thank you,
gonna
man.
wrap the interview here. And yeah, we'll chat soon.
Absolutely, man. 100%. Thank you for everything always. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Stay rooted, everybody.
All the time.